everybody, Brian from the Cabinet Joint here. We're going to be shooting today the video to end all videos on tools and supplies. We have shot this video a few times in the past, but through our experience with our shop here in Gettysburg, assembling these cabinets over and over again, we've tried to fine-tune the way we do things, and we thought that you might benefit from that experience as well. So I'm going to go through pretty much everything. You don't need everything in front of me to build all the cabinets. Some it's just going to be a rubber mallet, a bottle of glue, and a brad gun or a staple gun. For others, you're going to need to get into squares and clamps. So I want to explain each of those instances as we go through. So I'm going to work from left to right and kind of show you what we've got here. Some of these tools you'll have kicking around your own house. All of them are available at Lowe's or Home Depot or any local hardware store. And in the case of power tools and compressors that might get a little more expensive to buy, you can typically rent them for a weekend or whatever if you don't want to go buy it. So let's get started. Okay, first of all, we have two different versions of impact devices here. You don't want to constantly use the palm of your hand to push your cabinet parts together. You'll get real sore real quick. So we do use a rubber mallet to tap the parts together. You'll see that in all of our videos. We tend to like a Deadblow. It's just you don't have to swing it so hard, not that you're going to swing hard anyway, but it just does a nice job of it acting as the leverage versus your arm. Some people find they like the rubber mallet better because it's a little more finessey, but if you've got a pretty good feel for hitting your parts together, this is a 26-ounce Deadblow. This is our favorite. We do have the rubber mallet, and these are a lot cheaper if you want to buy that at Lowe's or Home Depot. Either one will work. Second thing you're going to have is some way to hold the cabinets together. Again, the glue is only acting, that's your final fastening device is the glue. The brads or staples are really acting as the way to hold the cabinet together till that glue sets. We like a staple gun. So a staple is a traditional, I think it's 5/16 wide. They're 1.25 inches long. We like the staple because you get 2 points of contact, and as long as you keep the staple oriented right, not this way where it's going to shank out inside your cabinet side interior, but this way, we like the staple a lot better. We've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now with a stapler, and we like it. If you want to use a brad gun, just shoots a 1 point of contact, 18 gauge brad, also 1.25 inches. That works just as well. Some people feel they have better control with a brad because you're not worrying about the orientation of the gun as you're driving your staples. So, fielder's choice. I have in front of me a bottle of glue. We use Titebond II. Titebond III is another option you can use. It has a little longer open working time, so it doesn't set up quite as fast. If you have to rework a part, you put a cabinet off to the side and you're like, oh, that frame is not quite tight to the box. It'll stay as an open working time a little longer. I like the Titebond II because I want it to set up fairly quick so I don't have glue running out the bottom of the frames, and this still will stay open for 20 minutes or so. So again, fielder's choice. We like Titebond II. You may want Titebond III. Potato, potato. Doesn't really matter. I have a little cup here. This is just to represent, you can use red Solo cups, Dixie cups, Tupperware, whatever you want. You're going to need something to put screws and hardware. If you watch one of our Welcome Series videos on sorting your hardware, you have a lot of screws. As you open up your bags of hinges and glides, and all sorts of little screws and pieces you want to keep straight. We like to sort them in any kind of container and then have those containers handy when we go to upfit the cabinets at the assembly stage. So just have a assortment of cups is fine. I have a rasp file here, any kind of file. We do find that occasionally you've got machining on these pieces of wood that you're putting together for the cabinets that have dovetails. Sometimes those are tight, wood expands. So you want to have a way to kind of free the dovetail up. If you get a tight assembly or some fuzz in the dovetail, you can use the rasp file to run it through the dovetail and clean that out. Pencil for marking. You're going to have to mark scribe lines, and any carpenter needs a pencil, so have a few of those around. Tape measure, of course, to measure things. A razor or box cutter, something like that, to cut strapping, cut cardboard, cut the tape that holds the foam onto the finished pieces. You're going to need some kind of a razor blade or a knife. Here I've got a chisel, just a small 1/4 inch or 5/16 chisel, something along that line. This is to clean out, again, if you have a dovetail that's got a piece of debris in there, or you want to pry a spline out to move it when you're assembling a cabinet box. Just good to have a chisel, an assortment of chisels around. Pair of pliers. We don't have a lot of use for pliers, but they're good to have around, again, if you want to pull a spline out that has to be relocated, or a nail, a brad shanked to the inside or outside of the cabinet, you want to pry that out. You'll see us sometimes use these in the assembly videos. I've also got a little Phillips head screwdriver. Short one's good so you can work inside of smaller cabinets, but Phillips head screwdriver is going to be critical when you're adjusting hinges and that kind of thing. I've also got two versions of a screw gun. One is the impact driver we like. This is what we use to put our hinge screws on. You'll see this used all the time in the videos. Impact style. You'll have an assortment of tips you'll need. Some are going to be like a Torx bit. Some are going to be Phillips. So you're going to want an assortment of tips or bits. And then I have my normal screw gun. This is going to be for all your pre-drilling activities. Pre-drilling for your hinges, pre-drilling for your drawer glides, all those kinds of things. You'll see us use drills quite a bit. And then of course with the drill you're going to want a box of an assorted size of drill bits. And typically this is the range you're going to be in. You don't get into these big ones very often, but you're going to want to have those smaller ones around. I've also got a self-centering bit. This is pretty critical. It's not necessary, but we like it because it helps. Let's just say I had a hinge going on a door. The tip on this is self-centering. It's got a little flute, not a flute, but a taper at the bottom. And as you push it in, it'll center the drill bit in the center of the hole, so you don't have to worry about was I off center, and then the piece moves when you go to screw it on. These are I think $6 or $7 at Lowe's. They're good to have around. Again, not critical. If you don't have it, you just have to be a little more careful on am I in the exact center of the hole I'm trying to drill. This box represents an assortment of screws you're going to need. A lot of folks feel that when they order the cabinets from Conestoga or from us and they come from the vendor, that you're going to have all the screws you need for installation and all that. You don't. They don't send the screws with the cabinets that hold the drawer front to the drawer box. So we use an 1¼ inch screw represented here. You'll see that in other videos where we're upfitting. They don't come with the screws to hold the cabinets to the wall, like a 3-inch fathead screw to hold the cabinets to the wall, the cabinets to each other. If you're going to go through front frames, the cabinets to each other, those screws are not included. So you do have to go to Lowe's or Home Depot or some local hardware store and pick up your screws for basic installation and assembly tasks, which you'll see in the videos. Got some blue tape here. Painter's tape is always good to protect finished surfaces from marring if you're going to have to cut something on a table saw or what have you. Good for protection. I've got the infamous wet rag. I'll always keep this around for your assemblies. You'll see it in every video because your final operation is going to be to wipe that glue out of the inside of the cabinet. So keep that handy. I got a square. We use this for marking quite a bit. If you're doing like a case-only cabinet, anywhere you want to strike a line, you want to make sure that's square to the front frame or to the back of the box. So you'll see us use the framing square quite a bit. Along with that, we have a little square kicking around. We show this in the videos as a way to scribe line the side of the cabinet. We use this for hardwaring. You'll see us use it when we're putting hinges on doors in those videos. So a little framing square, great, not framing, little detail square. Then we have a couple clamps, big and small. If you're doing a flush finished end, you're going to want to hold that cabinet frame tight to the box. So we always want to have an assortment of clamps around. I'm showing one of each size here. I would say you're probably going to want 4 or 5 bigger clamps. If you have a tall cabinet with one big flush size, you're going to want to clamp that in various places. These aren't cheap. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I want to say they're probably 30 bucks each. If you got a friend who can lend them to you, that's great, but you're going to want to have clamps around them. We are building cabinets here, and we do want to get things tight. So in certain cases, as the videos show, you're going to want to have some clamps around. And I think that really covers it. If you have questions, your cabinet coaches are always available to counsel you through an assembly issue. We've got lots and lots of videos you can refer to where you'll see all this stuff being used. But again, if you have any questions, call your cabinet coach. We want your cabinets to be built tight. We want you to have a good experience, and we want at the end of the day for you to walk into your kitchen and love it every time you walk in to get your coffee. It all starts with having the right tools and not trying to cob it together when you don't have the right tools. So make the investment or borrow them, but this is really a representation of what you're going to need to build a quality box. Thanks for watching.